Hey everyone, anyone. I wanted to make a short video today because I was thinking about willpower and what like a total crock that it is, and it's always been. And I used to like chastise myself because I didn't have enough like willpower, and I felt so um like out of control, like I was being like puppeted. And that's what I was talking about in another video, like it's like a curse when you are self-aware enough to be like, oh, this is the problem, this is the pattern, this is the way in which I am, and I am stuck. But like, you're not aware enough to really be able to um think about moving beyond, let alone actually move beyond like the shackles of, the confines of your existence. um that's crazy. So yeah, I was thinking about willpower, and it was just like another one of those things that's like, I don't have what is imperative in this moment to like move from point A to point B. And I would watch these people in life who had a lot of willpower, so it seemed. But I don't know, maybe it's just in this time in life, post 2020, like the age of Aquarius, however you want to look at it, maybe it's just like the inevitability of the collapse of structures, in the cycle of life. And this is the cycle of humanity. But these motivational speakers, for me, like, it was Mel Robbins. And it's like funny, they both have the same last name of Robbins, because it's like the male Tony Robbins and the female Mel Robbins. And it's like, man, it's so true. It doesn't matter what you're saying. Um, if you say it with conviction, it's like really encouraging, and it's stirring, and it sounds like truth. And someone can say total fiction and say it with conviction and eloquence and like this captivating way. Liz Gilbert's really good at that too. Because she speaks with like this sure-footed charisma, but she also has a really delicate, feminine, beautiful, quite frankly, like cadence and tone of her voice. It's soothing, but yet I know for a fact she said a lot of garbage. And Mel Robbins is kind of the opposite. She has that very strong voice, and man, she is sure-footed, and I really was a super fan. But it ain't 1996 anymore. Times they are a changed. And it's like, she was on Bill Maher, and I don't watch Bill Maher. He's another one. It was like, man, I had this spiritual awakening, and it's like, holy shit, you can just like call out lies in real time. It's cool. And if you actually like are aware, like, I wonder if that's true, and just do like a couple little steps of like remembering it and checking back later to see if you were right, or a quick Google search, you'll be like, wow, I hit the nail on the head. And so Bill Maher was a big part of my awakening to the bullshit. Rage Against the Machine was a big part of the awakening, because in the bigger picture, it's like all of these people, they make their whole lives on kind of being like the professional corporate goths of humanity. And what I mean by that is, like, I loved the goth scene and the imagery and kind of like what it signified, and the style, and like the rock and roll spirit, and kind of that damn the man heart. But yet, even as a teenager, I was aware of kind of the hypocrisy of basing so much of your self-expression and identity not on yourself and your expression, but on kind of like, a bouncing off of something else. It's like, I'm not going in this direction because I am this direction. I'm going in this direction because you told me to go the opposite. There's something inherently lame about it. And that's kind of like the problem with motivational speakers and the Democrat Party. God, they're all trash. That's what I'm saying. It's not even like it's like a they are all. It's like they aren't even they are like this singular entity that's just bullshit and crumbling. And so when Mel Robbins got challenged about the let them theory, and that was, and I'm just like in the group with a lot of other people, like, what in the hell are you talking about? I don't even have Facebook, and I know like you didn't create this shit. So quit crying about it with your crocodile tears, calling it your life's work. We know better. We have the internet machines, um, they just can't control it like they used to. And I mean, I'm sure that would be a hard pill to swallow for anyone when it's like I said, so much of your identity is based on being like the rebel or the opposite of, whatever, when you want to like fight the good fight, so to speak. Um, it'd be really hard to be like, damn, it's like so much worse than sleeping with the enemy. I am the enemy. Holy shit. So when Bill Maher, he's kind of getting Mel Robbins in these little gotchas in real time, on real time. I'm watching it, played back on repeat in a clip. And he said, yeah, so he baited her. He was like, so when Trump does whatever, the whole thing is just to be like, oh, let him. What can I do about it? This is a man. He is the president at the moment. Nothing I can do about it. What's done is done. He's going to make his own decisions. Clearly, little old me is not going to be whispering in his ear, so let them, right? If ever there is a time to say, let them, shit happens, let them, I'm going to do me. It's going to be with politics, right? Mel Robbins, right? And she was like, well, actually, Bill, oh God. And now her deep voice just annoys the shit out of me. But, she, of course, had this quick, like, snapback to be like, no, that's an exception. And she's like, well, no, it's not let them in that example because it's my tax dollars at work. And then Bill was like, well, actually, it's not your tax dollars, Mel. And it's like, oh, well, that, still not applicable because I don't know, whatever else she said. And it's like, damn, I just wish at one point in time, somebody that gets called out on their hypocrisy, when it's like, this is what I believe, this is the way to go. And then it's like, here's an exception to that rule. That exception, it's not an exception. That just makes you a hypocrite. And I just wish at any point in time, Mel Robbins would have been like, damn, you got me, It's not about let them. It's about me and my ego, because that's all politics is. Politics is a new religion. And, the second coming, I don't know. It's like, politics is a new religion. So anyway, so Mel Robbins, the bullshit, that's the point. She got called out in real time, on real time. And of course, she had like these replies of why she wasn't a hypocrite. You can't just say, oh, the president's going to do what the president's going to do. Let them. Let people vote how they want, think how they want. Let the president do what he wants. He's going to anyway. The let them theory, perfectly encapsulated, with politics. But she had to say, no, that's not true. And it's like, damn, and it's like, don't meet your heroes. And with the internet, we all meet our heroes. And so it's like, who do we believe in? Politics was my true religion. I've said that before. I was really enmeshed in it. Politics were my higher power. The Democrat Party was my higher power. And then, when I kind of dropped out of civil society with addiction and mental chaos, of course, drugs and codependency and mental illnesses and like all of these cracks and these wounds that I just seemingly felt like as if I could never heal, that I was just broken irreparably. I was like born that way. That's how it felt. And so then I started to like wear my cracks as an identity and as an armor, and as a security blanket. And of course, all those things became my higher power. And now I think about willpower, and it's like, how do we change? Because willpower is so fleeting, because it's based on your willpower, I think is my takeaway that I was thinking about earlier. It's like willpower is just based on you right now, as far as you've gone with your emotional, spiritual, personal evolution in this like iteration that is you in this life of your life, that's your willpower. It's like ego based. And so you're like mining. That's why these like motivational speakers are so motivational for a short period of time, because it like kind of hits that ego spot where it's like, yeah, I can. And they say it so well, and they're so like enthusiastic, and it just sounds so right. But then it goes away, and I just felt like a bigger piece of shit than ever. So what I'm trying to do is, not even do anything based on willpower or based on politics or these fucking celebrities. Fuck every single one of y'all, man. Ricky Gervais was right. He really was. That was super cool of him to do. And that's how we feel. Just please, just entertain us. Make some good movies. My God. When all these like false idols crumble, and these charlatans are exposed, and you see the hypocrisy of yourself and your former self, like, where do you turn? And maybe that's what alchemy is. It's like taking like the broken bits of yourself and like the little glimmers of hope, and just like all of this hodgepodge mix that is you inside of you, and turning into something more beautiful, and looking at that point of myself and being like, damn, I'm going to like follow that, let my goal of myself, and just, hopefully one day, and that hope for myself, be like some version of maybe a higher power. And then we won't have to turn to these like the Mel Robbins of the world with her like overpriced trite garbage. Let them like eat cake. You know what I mean? Mel Robbins, go fuck yourself. Y'all have a good night.